there's so many people that are trying to get people to like them, whether they're out on a date, whether they're in a business meeting, whether they're trying to build new friendships. Like, how do you build off of that framework to charm people and get people to like you?
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from the guy who was that guy many, many times. I have been the dumb on the date talking about myself so many times it's embarrassing. I wish CIA would have trained me when I was 21 and single instead of when I was 27 and engaged, right? So that said, it's important to understand that there's really only two types of people in the world from any one person's perspective. There's the person who can help you produce, and then there's the person who can consume your resources. That's it. Only two types. The person who helps you produce the thing that you're trying to produce, or the person who consumes the resources you currently have. If they consume resources that help you in the future, then they're a producer, right? If they only consume and never help you, then they're definitely a consumer. So we have to look at everybody we meet through this lens of, is this person going to help me produce? Are they going to help me produce a better business? Are they going to help me produce more income? Are they going to help me produce a healthy relationship? Are they going to help me produce a family? Is the person you're talking to helping you to produce, or are they just simply helping you to consume? For consumers, do not waste your resources on consumers. Do not waste your charm. Don't waste your techniques. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your talent on people who purely consume. And especially for single guys out there, I get it. Like, it's a very attractive idea to spend a couple of hours with some chick who doesn't really care about you, but who's smoking hot, and your friends get jealous about it. Like, I get the incentive. But if you really want to succeed, you have to find a way to focus on the people who will produce, because there's just as many beautiful, charming women out there that will help you achieve the same kind of ambitions that you're going for. Once you're kind of willing to ruthlessly only pursue productive people, Doug, then you take your two questions and a confirmation, and you take that to the next level by creating an artificial divide. Artificial divide. Any smart spy, just like any smart marketer, will tell you that if you want to create a productive relationship, you have to force the person sitting across from you to make a choice. And that choice is a simple choice: either come with me or get left behind. You have to create that choice. And the only way you can create that choice is by communicating what you believe in and what you don't believe in. If you're the kind of person who nobody really knows what you believe in, nobody knows how you really feel, nobody knows if you really care, nobody knows what you like, or if you're the kind of person that everybody just assumes is like so easygoing that you don't care, oh, that guy will eat anything, that guy will go anywhere, that guy will do whatever. If you're that type of person, nobody really believes that you are going anywhere. So they don't want to partner up with you. They don't see you as a producer. So you have to create an artificial divide. You have to say very clearly, I stand for this, I don't stand for that. When you create that divide, everybody who's working with you, everybody who's engaged with you, realizes subconsciously that if they want to stay working with you, they have to accept that what you believe in is real for you, or they get left behind. The reason CIA wants us to do this is because it limits the number of people that you are engaging at any given time. So it conserves your resources and simultaneously allows you to put more resources into the most productive relationships. And everything else, everything that's a consumer relationship or everything else that is a less optimized productive relationship, all of those things get cut. So how do you apply this in everyday life? Imagine your next date, or imagine the next person you interview to hire them for your company, or even imagine the people that you work with day to day. How many of them actually know what you care about? Even better, if you were to go straight up to them and tell them, hey, I care about a highly productive project delivered on time. If they say, well, I believe in being a few days late to make the best possible outcome. Well, now you know right away. You're like, we are not on the same page. We are not on the same team. So we are not going to be productive together. So if you're the hiring manager, you kick that person out the door and you're like, you're not going to be a good fit for our company culture. And if you're in an office and your coworker that you're assigned with is that different from you, it's time to escalate the problem to your supervisor and be like, hey, I just talked to Gus. Gus thinks it's okay to be late to get a better product. I think we have to be on time. So, boss, which one of us do you want to be in charge of this project?
Do you think that's why there's this a lot of advice out there about, in order to be more likable, you have to just quote unquote be yourself? It's because you have to like take a stand for something.
Well, I think there's two kind of cross-pollinating ideas there. First of all, I would say being likable is you don't want to be likable. If anything, you want to make sure that you are as repulsive as possible because the more that you can repel people, the more that the people who are not repelled are going to be a really strong fit for you, right? It's the difference between do you want to sell everybody in the world a $20 trinket because they like you, or do you want to sell 20,000 people a $10 million trinket because they trust you, right? It's a game of odds. It's a game of empirical evidence, right? So I think that when you get that guidance, that kind of campfire guidance, hey, if you want to be likable, just be yourself, they're cross pollinating two ideas. If you are truly just yourself, there's not going to be many people who like you, and you need to be okay with that. And if you want to be likable, then you essentially have to be less and less like yourself and more uh, obfuscated so people don't really know what you believe in. That way they can assume that you believe in what they believe.
Well, and I think I made this huge mistake when I was younger and thought that the more I tried to be a chameleon and morph into what I thought people, wanted for me, or what I thought would get me to be quote unquote liked, the more I realized I was disliked because people could sense that I was acting like a fraud and very out of character. And it wasn't until like I actually started to take a stand for something and say no more often that people actually liked and respected me on a deeper level than before.
Exactly. CIA puts all of us through a very rigorous set of personality and psychological testing in the process of training us. And the reason they do that is because they know when you know your core personality, and we use a Myers-Briggs type indicator and MBTE. When you know your Myers-Briggs personality type, then you know, or MBTI, excuse me, you know what you are like when you have no more resources left, when you're out of money, when you haven't slept, when you're physically ill, when you're tired and frustrated. That's when your core personality comes out. Everything on top of that core personality, you can be a chameleon. Any one of us can pretend to be something we're not. But in order to pretend, it spends a lot of energy, it spends a lot of time, it spends a lot of focus, a lot of cognitive power, and we only have a limited amount of those resources. So when you truly embrace your core personality and you understand your core personality, that's how you can conserve your resources the longest, just like you said. And in that process of being your core personality, one of the things that you don't waste time on is being ingenuine. And people can sense that insincerity.
After reading your book and just watching your content, I understand the importance of being able to like read people. Um, what is your like playbook or your best tactics as far as being able to read somebody like entering when you're entering into a conversation with them?
One of the best ways to be able to read a person is not by what you see, but by what you hear. When somebody speaks in a way where they don't use a lot of filler words, when someone speaks in a way where they answer a question quickly and kind of impulsively, that's how you know you're talking to a person who's intentionally being honest. They're intentionally reacting to your question. They may not be correct, but they are trying to be transparent. And whether they're trying to be transparent because that's part of their ego or whether it's because they want to be transparent because they trust you is irrelevant. What you hear is so much easier to read than what you see. For example, my wife. I love my wife. My wife is a former CIA officer. She helped me write the book. We wrote the book together from both of our perspectives. She is a brilliant woman on her own. But my wife feels compelled to have to like self filter her opinions. She wants to filter her opinions because she doesn't want people to take things the wrong way. She doesn't want to offend people. She doesn't want to worry people. She doesn't want to give the impression that, somebody might leap to the wrong conclusion. So when my wife answers a lot of questions, especially questions for interviews, you will hear how she slows her speech. You will hear her take long pauses. You will hear her use filler words, like, maybe. Like, you'll hear these filler words. And what ends up happening is, subconsciously, when you hear somebody speaking like that, you're subconsciously aware that they are holding something back. That's best case scenario. Best case scenario, you assume that they're holding something back. Worst case scenario, you assume that they are educationally dumb. You assume that they're not intelligent and they can't form a proper sentence, right? In both cases, if you're the one communicating, then you lose. And if you're the one trying to get information from the other person, then you're lost, you're confused. So when it comes to reading people, my number one suggestion for all of us is try to close your eyes when you're trying to read the person. Don't look at their face. Look at the floor. Look at the wall. Look at the ceiling. Look at the sky and focus on what you're hearing, because a lot of times what you're looking for, whether they can be trusted or not, you'll find more information from what you hear than what you see.